In this video, we're going to be solving inequalities instead of equations. And basically, you're doing exactly the same thing. The only difference is that we have a less than sign or a greater than sign, or less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, instead of having just plain equal sign. So on these first two, there's no line underneath them. So on these two, there's a line. Right, this includes 0 or equal to, these two does not, which means the actual endpoint is not included as part of your solution set. So on an open circle, when we go to graph it, we're going to use something that looks like this. And we'll use that for both of these two. So when we go to put it on a number line, we're going to use an open circle to show that we're not actually using that number as part of our solution set. And then over here, when we go to graph and we look at our arrow, all right, this one is pointing to the left, so when we graph, as long as our variable's on the left side of our inequality, we're going to graph that way. All right, greater than goes this way. So for this third one down here, this is a less than or equal to, so again, it's going to graph that way. And the greater than or equal to is going to graph to the right. Now these two, since they both have that or equal to symbol underneath it, for those ones we are going to use a filled-in circle. So when we go to graph those, they're going to get an endpoint that's a solid circle, right? Because our number is actually included in it. The only thing when you're solving an inequality that you have to remember, a couple things. One, you want to end up with your variable on the left so that this point matches the point of your arrow. All right, this one's pointing right, my arrow points right. As long as your variable's on the left, it'll work. And the other thing is, that's different than when you solve an equation, if you multiply or divide by a negative number for your last step, then you're going to have to reverse your inequality symbol. All right, so let's try a couple of these. All right, for this first one, all right, we don't have any parentheses, we don't have anything that we have to distribute. We only have two terms on each side. We want to end up with our variable on the left. So we're going to move this 6x by subtracting 6x from both sides. 7x minus 6x makes 1x. Our variable is on the left. Right? So now we're going to move our constant term, our 5, just like we did on an equation. And notice on each one of these, I'm just going to keep bringing the inequality symbol down. So I just bring down this less than or equal to symbol. And x is less than or equal to 9. And we have to graph it. So we make a number line. I always put the number that I need for my endpoint in the middle. It's a less than. It does include this or equal to. So we're going to use a filled-in circle. And my less than points left. So when we graph it, it points left. All right, let's look at the one on the right. Now this one on the right has not a lot to do with the math part. But it does have, right here, this variable on the left-hand or on the right-hand side. We want to move it so that it's on the left-hand side. So I'm just going to turn this whole entire inequality around. So I'm going to move the negative 1/2 x to the left, the 12 to the right, but then I have to also turn the inequality symbol around. So instead of having a greater than, I'm going to make it a less than. So that it's still, notice it's still opening toward the 12. All right, now to solve this, we're going to multiply, or we're going to divide both sides by negative 1/2. And that makes these cancel out. So we get x, and 12 divided by negative 1/2 is actually negative 24. All right, multiplying by a half would give us negative 6, but if you divide by a half, you're actually multiplying by the reciprocal, so you're actually multiplying by negative 2. And then because we divided by a negative number, we have to flip our inequality symbol around, so it does no longer a less than, it's now greater than. So when we graph this time we're on the negative side. So negative 25 is on the left, negative 23 is on the right. We're going to use an open circle because we don't have an or equal to symbol on our greater than, and our tip points to the right. So we're going to shade over here to the right from our open circle. All right, let's try just a couple more. So we want our variable to end up on the left-hand side, so we're going to subtract that 5x again. That means it's negative 1x minus 3 less than or equal to 2. We're going to bring our minus 3 over to the right with a plus 3. So that leaves us negative 1x is less than or equal to 5. And then our last step is to divide by negative 1. So that's going to flip our inequality symbol around. So x is now greater than negative 5. So we have negative 6, negative 5, and negative 4 on our number line. We have a greater than or equal to, so we're going to fill in that circle 2 because it includes the or equal to. And we're going to shade to the right. All right, our last one, we have to distribute our 3/4. So you can do this two ways. You can distribute 3/4, or you can multiply both sides by the reciprocal. I'm going to go ahead and just distribute these. So that gives me 3x minus 3/4 is greater than or equal to negative 3x minus 12. All right, we need to get our variable to the left, so we're going to add our 6x to both sides. We have 9x minus 3/4 greater than or equal to negative 12. Add on our 3/4, and that gives us 9x is greater than or equal to negative 11 and 1/4. And as an improper fraction, that is negative 45 over 4. So when we finish up and we divide by 9, it's a positive 9. Right, that's the same thing. We do negative 45 over 4 divided by 9. You can do that on your calculator. Or that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/9. So that would give us x being greater than or equal to negative 1 and 1/4. So on our number line, we need a negative 2, negative 1 and a 0, negative 1 and 1/4.